Hey everybody, welcome. Today we're going to talk about the third tool, which is the listening tool. So if you were listening closely, you will know what it's called. Tell somebody who's watching this with you. Which tool are we talking about today? So the listening tool really, here's what it looks like on our lanyard, really emphasizes that I listen with my ears, my eyes, and my heart. And I like this visual I want to show you guys. And I actually forgot one. So this visual is a good one because it shows I listen with my ears, my eyes, my heart, and my mind. And we'll talk a little bit about this, being that you really will think about what it is that you've heard. So let's go back just for a minute. I kind of skipped right to that symbol. The listening tool talks about how listening, truly listening to someone is different than just hearing their words. And one of the ways that we show that we're really listening, or the symbol that we use, is cupping your hand right behind your ear so that it's sort of leaning in, saying, I'm ready to listen with all of those parts. One thing that I know is when we just hear words, it doesn't necessarily mean that we stop and we think about those words. We think about how they feel to our heart. We're really looking at the person who's sharing. And again, back to that thinking, we're thinking about, I wonder what those words might mean. So listening is something that takes a lot of practice. Hearing things is pretty easy, like I heard ya, but truly listening and reflecting on the listening is tough and takes a lot of practice and is something that we are all continually learning to do better. One of the tools that I love that we use at Vestal is the I Feel Because I Wish chart. And just to quickly review this, adults, your children that are with you know this really well. And one thing I love is that kids need to use this actual piece of paper a lot less now that we've been using it for the last couple of years. But the way this works is that if someone's having a hard time, they can say, I feel, they pick a word. So maybe I feel sad because you cut my place in line for lunch. I wish that you wouldn't cut me in line, or I wish that you would leave me in my space. Now, the most important part of this, the listening part, means that whoever is listening is really focused with their eyes, their ears, their heart, and their mind. And the first job is to just repeat what you've heard to make sure you really did listen carefully. And we practice that by saying, I hear you saying. So in this case, I might say, I hear you saying that you're feeling really sad because I cut right in line on our way to lunch. I will be more patient and make sure that I don't cut you in line again. So this way, there's a part about using your words and being really careful and exact with your words to tell someone how you're feeling. But then again, one of the most important parts is listening and sharing. I hear you saying. So parents, one of the things that I notice this helps a lot with is it helps to avoid the like, well, you did this, or yesterday you said this, or 2 hours ago, whatever, or I was feeling this way, or here's why I did it, all sorts of excuses. And it really helps the listener zoom in on just that one moment. And what I have found is that after people share and they really truly do hear each other, most other things are able to kind of be let go and carry on. So students, I would love if you would try using the I Feel Because I Wish at home and teach the adults that are around you. It will be new to them, but you guys are real experts at the I Feel Because I Wish. And you could even make a paper copy that you maybe put on your refrigerator or somewhere that's going to stay. One thing that I know is really helpful for practicing true listening is to choose a song that you like, or maybe that's brand new to you. You could even use Coach C singing the Vestal Social Justice song as an example, and you really listen with your whole body, your eyes, your ears, your heart, and your mind. You focus in on the words that are being sung, And you can either jot down on a piece of paper or a whiteboard or just say out loud some of the words and the phrases that really stand out to you when you listen really, really closely. I find that when you listen to a song that you like a couple different times, you start to pick up on the most important messages of that song that the musician really wanted you to get. So that's a fun and a good way to practice. Adults, one other thing that I'd like to just throw out there is when you are talking to your students, especially if you're giving them some kind of directions, is to be really, really clear and simple and really not have more than 2 steps involved. So even if it is, go upstairs and put your pajamas on and then come down and brush your teeth, that's it. There's not 5 different steps for upstairs and downstairs. And then the part that I think goes along with I feel because I wish is asking, what did you hear me say? So that your child can say back, first I'm going to go brush, or first, I can't get him get it right. First I'm going to go upstairs and put on my pajamas, then I'm going to come down and brush my teeth. 2 thumbs up. Some students know that I often will cross my fingers if I have 2 things I need to remember. First I'm going to go put on my pajamas, then I'm going to come down and brush my teeth. It just are these little strategies that we use to help remember. The other thing that I've noticed, and I think is kind of fascinating, is that when I'm giving compliments to students and adults, I feel like sometimes they kind of brush it off or are a little bit uncomfortable. And so if I'm giving a compliment, I want to make sure that that student hears my words. They hear it, they see it, they feel it, they think about it. So if I'm saying like, oh my gosh, Eli, you just did a fantastic job digging out all those weeds. I can't believe how much work you got done in such a short amount of time. Instead of like, yeah, okay, I want to make sure he heard me. So oftentimes I will say, Eli, what did you hear me say? Sometimes as he's gotten older, especially into teenage years, there's a little eye rolling with it, but I don't even care because I still want to make sure that he really hears and takes in my words when they are complimentary. So I would practice maybe today and the rest of this week asking each other, what did you hear me say? To make sure that you're really clear. And then again, checking in with each other. Did you really listen or did you just hear my words? Did you listen? I'm going to show you guys this symbol one more time. Did you really listen with your ears, your eyes, your heart, and your mind? All sorts of different ways that you are truly, truly listening to the person that you're with. Today's read aloud that I'm going to do is called the listening walk. So you may want to watch this too because it goes along super well with our listening tool. Okay, listen well. Love you guys.